Hello and welcome. This is Nathanias here, bringing you guys a TVP on Antika's Shipyard for the IPL caster competition. We have the blue Protoss playing on the left side of the map, a Liquid Hero, and on the right side we have the red Terran Jachi. This game, as I stated, is for the IPL caster competition. Hopefully you guys enjoy my cast. I'd really appreciate your vote, and hopefully you enjoy this game. Hopefully pretty interesting. Antika Shipyard has a lot of possibilities for TVP. We see there's a lot of room to do gas play, but the map distance is also pretty big enough that you can get away with fast expanding, sometimes even seeing Nexus first builds from Protoss, but we'll have to see what happens here. Hero placing the first pylon very close to home. No proxy shenanigans. We have the depot at the top of the main ramp, so very slow start. Nothing really crazy happening just yet. One of the things people tend to do, you get these, you can do proxy pylons, see occasionally proxy tech buildings. There's a lot of room to maneuver around with banshees, a lot of space, and the same can be said for warp prisms. Warp prism play is also very strong. Blink stalker play is very strong on this map, being able to abuse these cliffs with observers early on. But I'm not sure if we're going to see anything crazy like that. It's the first interesting move made by Jachi. He's going to be going for 13 gas. So we will see some sort of tech-based play out of Jachi, which will be interesting to see. And we actually have double gas and 15 supply for Liquid Hero, which can be indicative of a Sentry expand into possibly some really aggressive play, such as 2-base Colossus or a really fast Dark Templar after expand. And we do have a pylon placed in an interesting location in Hero's base. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly he goes for with that. And we have Jachi just going to get a Marine out, finish that wall probably soon. SCV is going to go to scout. Orbital command is on the way, and his wall is complete. Now we actually have no scout from Hero in the first moments of this game, so he's basically given up his opportunity to go inside the base. Knows he's got to have a wall by now if he's going for a wall, and there's definitely a Marine out by now. And Jachi's kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to check around my natural, make sure there's nothing hiding there. And he's going to send his SCV to scout at a relatively little bit late time, but cross position only, so he knows where his opponent's going to be, and the distance isn't that long. Now we only have 2 probes on each gas. Let's see if Jachi's going to see everything here, and it looks like he's actually going to miss the second gas. He's just going to step in and then step right out with his late scout. He doesn't want to get caught by a stalker, doesn't want to get caught by a zealot and lose that scouting SCV. Maybe he has other plans for it, but the factory is actually being built inside of his base, so that's very interesting, as well as this is actually very interesting. Going for this fast factory, but as well getting a tech lab on the barracks. He's going to be going for concussive shell Marauder with his factory play. So this could be Hellion Marauder. It could be. I'm not entirely sure. There's really much else to do than this. But Hero's starting to bank a little bit of money. Looks like he's going to be going. He does have that sentry on the way. It looks like he is going to be going for a 1-gate expand with this extra gas. The Stalker patrolling around the map looking for any kind of proxies. This probe is going to come here. Actually going to see this SCV. So Jachi finishing his factory. Not yet started a starport. Possibly intending on proxying the starport, but seeing the probe, it's a bit of a risk. Maybe he's just going to build it in his base or something of that sort. Now, constant Marauder production is going. Concussive shell is complete, but Jachi is only on 1 gas, so he's can't really afford to get up any stim or combat shield to follow this up. The SCV is going to be heading towards the base. We have the probe in the third, still hasn't seen anything. Now SCV will get force fielded out, isn't going to get to see anything. Not that there's much to see, of course. He's going up to 3 gateways. Still only has 2 probes on each gas. Hopefully be saturating those soon. His Nexus is about halfway done. Now this Zealot does spot the Marines and Marauders headed up. The starport has begun construction. The factory's been lowered to allow faster reinforcements of Hellions. And this looks like it's just going to be a Marauder Hellion timing with the combat shield and the medevac on the way. So definitely a really aggressive play. Now Hero is only on 1 gate for a little bit. He's gotten out a couple of sentries, but he doesn't really have a lot to deal with this. We look at the worker station. Yeah, he doesn't even have that many extra probes, so he's going to come up here, try to get this Marauder off. Actually managing to get that away, so these stalkers are actually a little bit isolated. The starport has completed, and these sentries are kind of up there on their own. Now these stalkers are going to be trapped down here to be killed by the Marauders. A very Very nice little catch by Jotchi. There's not that much to fight for Hero up here. He only has these 3 gateways. The extra gas is going to help him continuously warp in stalkers or warp in sentries, but he doesn't really have that many options. Taking out the sentries first. These do not have any force fields. He has no sentries. The probes are being actually pulled to try to help deal with these Hellions, but they will fall down. More reinforcements streaming in from Jotchi's base, and these stalkers are coming down. A lot is being lost here. Looking at the resources cross-tab, Hero is actually in a really bad spot. Stalkers can typically deal with Hellions fairly well, but with Marauder support, they pick these up very quickly. And there's actually no tech at all for Hero. He has not been able to afford it, trying to constantly warp in stalkers, and unfortunately losing his sentries, he might have his tech delayed even more. So many probes going down. 10 killed Hellions running into the main, possibly increasing this number, and it looks like he's going to get one more, and those probes do get us around, so he will only kill 12 probes with his initial push here. However, the medevac is out. Not really much to bring over in the drop. Looks like he's not really going to be trying to follow this up. Maybe he wants to do some multi-pressure, maybe push with some units at the front and some at the side. But he's taken his expansion, he's taken his second gas, and he's started 2 more barracks. So he's getting ready to move into the mid-game at a fairly decent pace. He's covering his follow-up, and we have Stim actually just starting now. Unfortunately, over at Hero's base, took a lot of damage and lost his sentries, so tech being delayed even further by the need to build more sentries. He wants to make sure that in case a follow-up attack comes in, he doesn't want any Hellions thrown by, and these stalkers are actually positioned very poorly to deal with a drop that looks to be heading over to the main base of Hero. I mean, the stalkers will do a decent job of holding off any Hellion run by that could be attempted by Jotchi, but he's actually going to be in a really bad position to deal with this. The medevac's about to hit the main base, and we actually have Hellions poised to run in from the outside. Now, Jotchi is going to unload here. These Marauders are immediately going to drop out, kill the Stalker, warped in a little too close, I think. These Hellions will run in force field, slowing him down. All the probes transferred over to the natural. Going to be trying to run in there, but the probes managing to just barely get him to pull off, and the sentry's doing a bit of damage to take out one of the Hellions. And these Marauders are actually just doing a nice bit of work here, taking out 2 more Stalkers, all the Stalkers that actually been eliminated. We do have a robotics facility, but it is so far away at this point for Hero. These probes coming off back home, and they're going to try to do a little bit of harass here, and Jotchi's just going to load up in that medevac and get out. Hero actually doing a pretty decent job of protecting his probes. Still only has about 14 probes lost, so a lot that could have gone wrong there. Thankfully, not too bad for Hero. Pretty good control shown there. Now Jotchi will be moving up to 5 barracks before he gets his 3rd command center. Looks like he wants to be very aggressive in trying to end this game. Stim is about a minute away, and we do have double medevac production beginning. So now that he's got about 3 medevacs, there's a lot he can do, a lot of damage, a lot of opportunity. Jotchi has stimmed bio with medevacs versus Hero's 3 gateways and 1 robotics facility. He does not have a robotics bay. He's had to warp in so many units, it just really hasn't been a feasible option for him. And he's getting out an immortal, but this isn't really going to help that much dealing with stimmed bio. He'd need a lot more gateway units. He would need some form of tier 3 tech to deal with this. The Stalkers aren't really going to be that effective against this if the medevac is able to get the loadout. And it looks like he's going to be going for a drop into the main base while heading out and kind of just getting here. And his goal is to draw these units in, and then the units from the natural are just going to be able to run in and wreak havoc. This medevac is going to go unload and then start targeting down these Stalkers. And this medevac actually gets away with 7 HP. So he's going to be able to load these units up if he wants to. The Zealots can't fire up, and these 3 Marauders do get away. In the meantime, he's going to be pushing into the natural. An Observer was here to spot this. The Sentries and Immortals will be able to clean up a decent bit of that. Nice force fields, but nice taking a commanding 20 supply lead. Jotchi's going to have to take out another pylon and just keep wreaking havoc. We have a 3rd base on the way for him as well. Combat shield +1 attack about to finish, and a big drop in the main. Trying to pick off a couple more of these units, drawing everything up. This factory is going to be able to scout now as well, moving into the natural area. And, I mean, if he goes to attack that, he'll know the Stalkers are there, and he'll be able to drop right back into the main. So this job is actually going to swing around one more time. Units continuing to move down, and it looks like this medevac will actually be going back for repairs. A very nice touch. And a couple more gateways on the way for Hero, but he just really can't afford to get any kind of tier 3 tech, it seems. Has to continually make these Stalkers, and 1 medevac will go down, but no units were in it. And he's just going to step out, kill all of these units with the Marauders, and the units at the natural poised to jump in at any time. He loads up to move out, runs these Marines and Marauders in, it seems, and he's actually stimming some of the units that are at the tower. Just really wants to get them there as quickly as humanly possible. And in the meantime, doing another drop. Here's Stalker not being able to deal with all the Marauders in these medevacs. And this forward push actually taking out a pylon. Going to be able to do a decent bit. Now, probes being pulled. This is absolutely never a good sign. And the units in the main, okay, he's going to be moving them over, possibly dropping behind the mineral line while he continues his forward pressure. And really, he's just stretched Hero so far thin, supply blocked him so badly, that he's floating so many resources without tier 3 tech and just really can't do anything to deal with this. Being completely out multitasked by Jhachi, who's now on 3 bases, getting his +1 attack and his +1 armor. So he'll be 1-1 very soon. Only 1 forge with no upgrades going on it at all for Hero. And then he's just going to pick off the rest of these Stalkers and the rest of these probes. There's just really not much else that Hero has, and that's going to be GG. So, really well played by Jhachi, using the aggressive opener to build into a very aggressive mid-game, and just delaying the tech of Hero so long that 15 minutes, there wasn't a Twilight Council, there wasn't a Robotics Bay, there wasn't even +1 armor for the Protoss player to deal with stimmed bio. And it all comes down to the sentries that were lost. So, needing to replace the sentries delays the tech even more, and then having to build the Stalkers to deal with the very fast medevac delays the tech even more. And honestly, just some really solid unit control by Jhachi. Hero had a couple of really great moments in this game trying to hold off the Hellion harass, but it was just not enough. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this. As I said, I'm competing in the IPL caster search competition, so I really would appreciate your vote if you enjoyed this, and hopefully you'll be hearing more from me soon. Thanks for watching.